October 16th, 2015's weekly wrap-up. Haven't seen me for a couple of weeks. I've been out of the country and back, and then got sick from the plane ride, and not sick anymore. So that's why you haven't seen much of me for the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys miss me, but I missed you guys. I love always working on the material on the website. So anyway, speaking perfect segue into what did we do, or what's happening right now for the review, right? And step 17 in the Melisma Course has been released, and it is all about combining scale patterns. Major scale, notes and thirds, major pentatonic, minor blues scale, chromatic scale, how I combine them to create melismas. They're not the only scales I use, but they're the scales that I use the most. And I have a little way of combining those both as an instrumentalist as well as a singer. And I feel like I shared that pretty well and communicated that pretty well in this lesson for you to, again, think a little bit outside the box. That's what I like to do. And learn how to create melismas, and also how to bring all of this information as part of your toolbox of things that you can grab to create. So anyway, that's what happened there. Step 17 in the Melisma Course. It's all about combined scale patterns that are used for melismas, the most used scale patterns. So I guess that leads us into the musical tip of the week, since we've got that out of the way. Let's talk more about what is singing. What is singing? You know, it's pretty basic, right? What exactly is singing? Singing is speech that is prolonged for a longer period of time. Now, I'm not saying that you really sing exactly like you talk, although you want to be able to keep your voice in the same relaxed position when you're singing as your voice is when you're speaking, meaning that you're not activating certain muscles that get in the way of singing. These strip muscles that pull along the chin here underneath, fancy words, digastric hyoid muscles. Whenever those muscles are involved, which are the muscles involved in swallowing, I always ask people to do this. If you haven't done it before, or even if you have, let's do it again. Put your thumbs underneath here. Swallow, and see if you feel some movement there. Of course you will, and the movement that you feel there are the muscles activating to help you in your swallowing process. That swallowing process, or the muscles involved in that swallowing process, is the nemesis towards singing. As long as those muscles get activated in some way, shape, or form when you're singing, you won't sing as well as you possibly could. So being able to deactivate those muscles is a very important factor in singing. Also, the position of the larynx, which is also involved in the same thing of where your muscles, if your muscles don't pull on it and cause it to move, it stays in this relaxed middle position. As I'm speaking right now, it's not moving much. And hey, hey, nothing is happening. Everything is nice and relaxed. It's moving a little bit like a bobber in the water. I can feel the sound vibrating through it, of course, but not much more than that. Being able to keep that in a nice relaxed position. Hey, even when you go down to the low notes. Hey, even when you go up to the high notes. Less action here means better reproduction of the tone, easier flexibility and your ability to sing from the top to the bottom of your range, all important. And singing songs, or the technique of singing songs, is to take what you're doing in speech and actually prolong or sustain those tones, being able to coordinate your voice to be able to hold notes for a longer duration of time than what actually happens in speaking. Now, how do you do that well? Well, I've talked about that in so many different ways, and have a whole website here that's all about how you do that well. But quickly, the way you do that well is that you put yourself in a position, or your voice is in a position, that you're not putting stress or too much heft or air pressure up underneath the chords, creating tension. And that tension, as long as there's tension in your voice, and what is tension? Well, there are the strip muscles, digastric hyoid muscles that come along here, that if you put your thumb under here and swallow, if that activates, when those muscles that are involved in the swallowing process gets involved in the singing process, it hinders your singing. So you need to have a technique that helps you deactivate the muscles that are along here. You need to be able to sing high and low into your range without activating those muscles in either direction, down to the low notes and the upper notes, and at the same time not push too much air or air pressure through your vocal cords while you're doing it. Those are the things that help you become a better vocalist. You know, there really is no great mystery to what it takes to become a better singer. Those are some of the topics that absolutely have to be covered. It's not that those are hard things to do, but it does take some time and effort and practice to get everything coordinated in the right way so all of those things will happen simultaneously. The problem with the voice over many other instruments, every instrument has their problems. If you're a violinist, understanding how to bow, get the fingers in the right place in the left hand, there's lots of things involved. If you're a violinist, if you're a guitarist, how you move your wrist and arch your wrist in one hand and play from the wrist, or if you play from a different position in that, all of those things have to do with the techniques that evolve you as an instrumentalist. As a vocalist, again, you have to be able to access your full range in a very clear, precise way. If you can't do that, then there's always going to be some problem in the quality of what you're doing, or some kind of fight and struggle in being able to sing all of the notes the right way. So how do you get better at these things? Well, that's right, the P word, practice. But you got to know what you're going to practice, and you have to practice it in the right way. Another thing when it comes to practicing, especially with the voice, I think, over all of the other instruments, you know, you do have to pull your instrument out of a case if it's a regular instrument and pick it up and play it. But the human voice, it's with us all the time. We don't have to take it out of the case. Where we're driving, where we're walking to, when we have some time by ourselves, you can whistle, you can hum, you can always be making sound. And the greatest singers I've ever met are always making sound, they're always singing. They're winding up chords after a gig and they're still singing away after they've been singing for 4 hours beforehand. Why? Because the passion is there, they just love it. And that's what singing is all about, our music is all about. It's this passion in all of us and a way of expressing ourselves, and at the same time, it's some form, at some level, of meditation. And bringing all of those things together are healthy and wonderful for you, and you'll get better by doing it. It's in the doing. So practice all the time. When you're a singer, you don't need some special time to run over somewhere and be in a room or anything. You can just simply make sound anytime. So with a musical tip of the week this week, take some vowel sounds, take some melody lines, hum away, and feel comfortable. Every once in a while, touch here. Make sure that this is all staying stable, that your larynx isn't rising high or low in your throat, that the muscles along here are staying nice and relaxed. Ooh, hey. Nothing is happening there. I'm just comfortable. And that's what you want to feel for. Tip of the week, make sure these muscles don't work. Practice a lot. Don't call it practice, call it fun.